Kennedy Mandaza, ZANU-PF South Africa spokesperson. He joins us via Zoom. Kennedy, a very, very good morning to you. Welcome to the agenda.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers.
So, since Robert Mugabe's departure from power, 4 years on, has President Emmerson Mnangagwa been able to deliver on his commitment he made after returning to Zimbabwe back in 2017?
Yes, he has been able to deliver on a number of the promises that he made when he returned in 2017, and also the promises that he made in the 2018 election manifesto. And among these things that he has delivered is that he has managed to make a remarkable progress in transforming the economy and maintaining peace in the country, because peace and unity are prerequisites for us to be able to improve our economy. He has also managed to create order in terms of the political discourse that is taking place in the country. He has created a platform where we see political actors and all other stakeholders engaging frankly in order for them to chart the course that Zimbabwe has to take. Under the mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business, the president has been out there luring investors who have been coming into the country, and we have seen quite a number of developments that are being initiated by investors that are coming in the country. But more importantly, in order to lure these investors, they have also made reforms in as far as policies that is the doing of business in the country. The former Indigenization and Economic Empowerment Act, which required the 51 and 49%, has been repealed and replaced by a policy that is investor friendly. We have also seen other legislation being repealed in order to ensure that we have a country that is developing.
A letter from Mr. Mugabe, read out by the Speaker of Parliament, said that he was tendering his resignation with immediate effect. You saw that, I'm not sure if you saw that in our international editor Sophie Mokwena's package a short while ago. Still, there are some that say this was a coup. What's your reaction to those who say that?
I think we need to understand the definition of what a coup is, and they need to give us examples of elsewhere where a coup took place in the manner they suggest that Zimbabwe had a coup. Because ordinarily when we have a coup, all arms of the state are dissolved. And in the case of Zimbabwe, none of that happened. The former president continued his duty. The parliament continued its duty, and it was even set to hear the impeachment that had been brought forward by the president, by ZANU-PF. The judiciary continued to do its work without any interference, and the former president resigned on his own accord after having been asked by the party to do so, because the highest policy-making body in ZANU-PF is the Central Committee. And if the Central Committee makes a decision, any member of the party is supposed to comply. And the former president had no exceptional reason not to comply to the demands of the Central Committee. And he did so, and all other processes culminating in the endorsement of Comrade Mnangagwa were done legally and according to the law.
Would you say he was forced, though, to resign?
He was not forced to resign per se, because the party had a duty to preserve the organization, and there's a duty also to take care of its own people, including the former president, who at that particular time, the party saw that he was now incapacitated in terms of delivering the mandate that he had been given by the people.
To your knowledge, sir, are there still some former ministers of the late former President Mugabe who are still in exile?
There are quite a number of former ministers that are out there. Some of them are here in South Africa, and some are in Kenya, and some might be elsewhere, not necessarily ministers. But these are people that are in self-imposed exile. Because when the current president came in, he said, let bygones be bygones. And what he meant is that there was not going to be any retribution on anyone. And these ministers, or former ministers rather, and other members that could be out there in exile, they are welcome in Zimbabwe. And we have an example of Ignatius Chombo, who remained in the country and went to court to be cleared of the allegations that he have, and he is enjoying his freedom in the country. The same can happen to those that are in self-imposed exile. They are welcome into Zimbabwe. If there are any allegations that they have been brought before the courts, it is up to them to go to the courts and have themselves cleared of those allegations, and they can continue to do their business as normal like any other individual. As a party in the country, we have been accepting people joining from all corners of the country without any retribution at all.
Let's look at the likelihood of that happening in the near future as, I guess, part of reconciliation. Are we likely to see them returning to Zimbabwe soon?
I will not speak on behalf of those that are in exile, but what I can confidently say is that the government of Zimbabwe, under the president of Emmerson Mnangagwa, is prepared to accept all Zimbabweans back into the country. And there will be no retribution on anyone, save for those who have cases that are before the courts, where upon arrival they therefore need to be cleared by the courts. And they will end their freedom if they do not have any case to answer.
After years of, one would call it, diplomatic ostracization under Robert Mugabe, what sort of political reforms were put in place as part of a process of re-engagement with the international community?
You would have seen that the thrust of the current government has been engagement and re-engagement, going out there to talk to the countries that had imposed sanctions or who had distanced themselves from our country for the past two decades. And we have seen quite a number of these people coming back, being charmed by the progress that is currently taking place in the country. And I have already indicated one of the reforms on the Indigenization and Economic Empowerment Act, and we have also seen other reforms taking place on legislation such as the AIPA, which was one contentious piece of legislation at that particular time. But over and above that, there have been policies that have been put in place to ensure ease of doing business so that we can lure investors in the country. We have also introduced systems that ensure that there is policy consistency and predictability in the country, which is one area that other people have been crying about. But in the arena of politics, you would agree with me that before the 2018 elections, the political arena had been leveled. People can crisscross the country even today to make sure that those that are in opposition, their voices are heard. The president has always been in, and he continues to speak peace and unity and encouraging people to earn whatever they earn through honest hard work.
Mr. Mandaza,
and these are some of the things that the IMF and the international community have seen as progressive policies.
Let's talk about the political arena. Your country is coming up to an elections in 2023. Talk to us about the political climate and some of the dialogue that you might be having with opposition parties as well in the build-up to these elections in terms of a national dialogue. Talk to us about the political environment from your perspective.
The current political dialogue or climate in the country is fairly stable, although we still need to harness other political actors to come on board and speak with a common voice in terms of what it is that the country needs to achieve. The president has put up what is known as the Political Actors Dialogue Platform or Forum, where political actors are supposed to meet time and again to discuss issues that have to do with the political situation and improving areas that needs to be improved in order to have a sustained, free and fair election in the country. Regrettably, we have had one political organization that has failed to join this political platform, and that happens to be the MDC. And we have always been appealing to the MDC to say that the doors are open. If ever we have to find a way of making sure that we address and reform in the same manner, we need to be speaking with one voice in the same room, because we believe so strongly that the Zimbabwean problems and challenges require Zimbabwean solutions. Hence, the president came up with this platform where political actors and other stakeholders are involved in discussing and also preparing for the forthcoming elections, which we would want to see being free, fair, and nobody should feel left out in the process.
We were hoping to speak to the MDC Alliance leader, Nelson Chamisa, on the program today. Hopefully we can get him in the next hour. If not, we'll make every endeavor to get him onto the program, in other programs on SABC News, to get his perspective as well, put those questions to him as well. But we thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time and for your perspective as well. Be well.
Thank you.
All right, that was Kennedy Mandaza, a ZANU-PF SA spokesperson.